Hello, welcome to our series on how to mix a demo for your bandmates. In our first episode, we're gonna look how you can incorporate EZDrummer into a DAW to get some better mixing results. So enjoy, and then till next time. Hey everybody, Benedict back here again with Henning. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to part 2 of our how to record a demo for your bandmate series. And we're doing the mixdown right now, or Henning is going to do it. If you haven't watched the video on how we recorded all this stuff, you'll find the link here. Just click it and then you can watch the video there. So, well, thanks again for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right. I say let's dig right in, start up with the drums, right?
Well, yeah. We have those tracks lined up and I prepared a little something because I had the feeling that with the whole song as it is, I would like to work a little on the kick drum and the snare. I don't want to go too far into detail because we are working with EZDrummer, and whatever drum sampler or library you use, they almost always sound mix ready. It's just a matter of a little leveling and taste, quite frankly, and it's hard to do a drum sound that good with a demo recording in your rehearsal space or something that sounds so good like those sample libraries do as they come. So I don't want to do too much stuff to the drums. But, as I mentioned, the kick and the snare. And then the bass needs a little love. The guitars need a little something here and there. We have a few little reverb delay tricks I would like to share with you. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Because, for one thing, we don't have any vocals yet. Yep. That's for the imaginary singer of our imaginary band. That's up to him to come up with something. So the part of vocal mixing isn't involved in here. It just is a simple idea to make it a little nicer and a little more impressive for your bandmates. So let's dive into it. First thing I would always do is just listen to it and find a balance and start with first things first, actually, because one is very often in the danger of doing things because someone said so. So you don't listen to it. You just say, well, I do a little 60 on the kick, I do a little 1K on the snare or something, whatever, and you do things and then you work an hour or something and listen back to it and you say, well, it sounds different, but not necessarily where I want it to sound. So just listen to it, find a balance, find an idea where you want it. Do you want it really small and garagey? Do you want it a little bigger, a little more stadium, or somewhere in between? Do I want it natural? All those questions. And then when you have decided for yourself what you are actually trying to achieve, then you can actually try to achieve it and see, well, okay, I got this vision. Let's chase that. So,
all right, have we already decided? No, we need to listen first, probably, right?
We need to listen. We take a verse and a chorus, I would say, and then say, well, off we go. All right. What are your suggestions? I got my ideas, but I would really like to hear what you
I mean, I
have in mind. It's your song.
Yeah, I wrote the thing with like Kings of Leon, James Bay approach into it, and so Kings of Leon is kind of like pretty big sounding in a way. So,
Sure.
Yeah, that were my thoughts on it. So, what do you think?
I see it in that realm as well. I would try to make it to speak in pictures or emotions. I would try to make the verse dreamy and a little lighter and open, and the chorus as rock as it gets.
Sure.
So I would say let's try to get a good balance in those intro repeating things. I mean, the intro and the choruses are all in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Everything is just
Hammering away high energy.
Yeah, high energy stuff, and everything else in this song, the verses and the pre-chorus, need a little more detail. So I would start with a loop, just take in a few bars where everything's steady. Oops. And try to find a balance. As I mentioned, I like the snare a little louder, the kick with a little more attitude, but yeah, we will see. Alright, I actually forgot to set the loop. That might help. Alright, so what we got here is we have the kick. We have the snare.
Yeah, that's worth pointing out. Maybe we actually got all the individual channels from EZDrummer and laid them out into our project, so that way you can actually apply plugins and really work those.
Yeah, that's true. That's one thing that I like to do when working with sample libraries, especially with drums. Sometimes you don't have to do it because they all have a built-in mixer, but when you do dive into it and take the effort, then I like to put them into Cubase. You do that, by the way. I searched for that quite a bit. You do that by clicking this little button, and there you have all those outputs,
right?
those channels, and can activate them accordingly. And then that's not all of it. You need to, with EZDrummer, go into your mixer. So it will start up like this. You go into your mixing section and bus those outputs together. So I bust together the kick-in, kick-out mics, the snare, top and bottom, and then everything else that I found, well, works, and I sorted it out. And then all those outputs will come back, and we have them in Cubase, ready to
work with them, right?
To work with them, exactly. And then just first thing is you need to, because easy 4 or 5 means it's a little not so intuitive. So I name them, and then I start to work with them. Hi-hats. Whoop. Actually, god damn it. Something that's not used. Here we have the overheads. and everything else is pretty much rooms. Nothing here. That seems like a mono compressed thing. Like a parallel thing, very useful. And that's that. So, as I mentioned, what I like to do is, first of all, grab these fellas. Oh, can't I do that? I'm working. For all those who are wondering, what is this moron doing? I work usually on a Windows system platform, so all my shortcuts and those little things that are a little hiccupy here are different there. But I'll do my best. So what I wanted to do is group them together to a bus to have the drums ready as one output, and I can solo them and make sure that it is actually in stereo, because we want to pan things and have that option.
Cool.
So, always, like I said in the video earlier, in the color coding is key. It's so helpful. So you solo them. So what I like to do is, we have to decide in this particular thing, do we want the picture of the drum set audience perspective or drummer's perspective? So in this case, it's a little simple because we have all those toms put together. We just decide whether the hi-hat is on the right or on the left side. Because if you look at the drum kit, then the hi-hat usually is on the right side. If you are sitting at the kit, it's on the left. So let's pan that hi-hat accordingly to the right side. All right.